Well, welcome to the Rocker Skating Podcast News of the Week. And it is the week of September 29th to October 5th. We're straddling the months and we're getting into the Grand Prix month already. I keep saying already, but really we've been going in this season for quite a long time. Of course, Michelle Ellis is joining me right now.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of skating.
We have been watching a lot of skating. Speaking of watching a lot of skating, there was a lot more skating to watch here. For the news of the week, we're going to cover Trophée Métropole, Cup of Nice, and then also the Italian test skates, and then the second to last Junior Grand Prix event in Poland. So lots and lots to talk about. For the men in Nice, Siao Him Fa, a little bit of a return to form. We saw a very strong short program from him with a 97. It was clean, quad lutz, and a quad toe. And the free skate was still a little bit here and there, but it feels like improvements. And he ended up with a 254 in a field that wasn't expected to be a strong field to begin with. I think he wanted this to be kind of practice. He always does this competition. Sami Hami was second, 219.36, and then our fave, Davide Lewton Brain, 183.60, not anywhere near what he did at the Olympic qualifying competition, but I'm glad he's still skating. I'm glad he's still pushing through this season.
He's the first alternate. He better
exactly. First alternate. So, any thoughts on Adam?
Quad flip, I thought was good. That's a new jump for him this year, right?
He's done it before.
Has
but
he done
it's
it in
not
competition before this season?
He's done it in competition before. Yeah.
That was the first time I really saw him do it, and it looked. I don't know. It looked good. It looked confident. I thought overall his demeanor seemed more elevated, and the program seemed a little bit more cohesive. I still am kind of on the fence about the short program. I hear that music, and it's like the same opening that Sevchenko and Massot used, and my mind goes there immediately, and I'm just like, no. But
I kept thinking this weekend, I miss Star Wars, Adam.
Yes. Actually feels like he's Darth Vader.
There was a time. There was a time when he was. There was a time when he did these programs that were more upbeat, more fun, and he's more kind of the last few seasons, maybe a little bit more retreated toward the more angsty kind of things, except for Gangster's Paradise.
His previous work was more of his personality, and I feel like these programs are more Benoit driven.
Yeah, potentially.
I don't know if that's wrong, but that's just the impression I get.
Yeah, he and I have been talking about doing an interview for a while, so hopefully I'll get him on the podcast this season, and I'll do a little bit of asking of that. Okay, so that's the men in Nice. The women, another one where it was not a terribly star-studded field, but Leah Serna with a 177 winning that's a big score for her, and doing it at home, and it's one spot for the French women, and Laureen Shield has not been looking as strong so far this season as she did last year. So I think it's going to be a pretty intense battle for that one spot between those two, I think. Sarah Franzi of Switzerland, 153, and Alexandra Fagan, who will likely be going to the Olympics, 142.23. This was something of a showdown between the Bulgarians too here. Fagan, Grigorova, and Hristova, there are three Bulgarians here. I think there was probably something of a bit of a skate off here early on in the season. And then ice dance, unfortunately, only 5 teams here, so there were no world standing points to be had because one team ended up dropping out. But it was it was actually the top 2 teams especially are exciting teams. Toshler is winning, and Becker Hernandez making, I think, their season debut. So 186 for Toshler's, and then 175 for Becker Hernandez. Argentieri Riva of Italy was third with 135. Your impressions, ice dance expert?
Well, I mean, the world standing points thing is really disappointing, but at least you get to go to Nice. It's not like you're going to some
It's so
difficult place to
nice.
reach that's isn't on the beach. Yeah.
Such a nice competition to have.
Yeah, I thought that Becker Hernandez had a pretty good debut. I like their George Michael rhythm dance. The Tashlers, I think, have to be a little bit worried. Their free dance score was about the same as Nepola. They brought their tech score up a little bit, but their components went down. And I feel like the components, like having components in the high 40s for a team at their level is a little concerning. It's sort of like the judges are sending a message like, we don't like your program. I like their program, but it's just I don't know. It's an interesting, and they made a big coaching change. They've kind of are coming in with a new approach, so we'll see how things develop for them. But
Yeah, I mean, with ice dance also, there's a thing where I feel like if you start off the competition with lower component scores, they kind
hmm
of stay lower.
hmm
It never really makes sense to me,
hmm
because ultimately it becomes, yes, it's like we're gonna score you based on some kind of system, but it also
hmm
it just sort of reverts back to like we're just gonna rank you in some way,
yeah,
and I don't know, especially with a competition that is smaller with a different kind of it's a non Grand Prix kind of field.
hmm
I don't know if people should read into the scores that much.
mm,
We'll talk about that more later
yeah,
with Dennis Ten Memorial, but that is also a thing.
yeah.
So that was Nice.
hmm
Michelle did not appreciate my nice puns, but that's
I
okay.
did, I did.
Yeah.
Niece is
Um,
nice.
the the Italian test skate, which was, I don't know if it was a surprise, but it kind of just like kind of hit us in the face. We didn't.
hmm
A lot of us didn't know that was coming. I
hmm
didn't, but it was a very smallish competition.
hmm
The pairs was going to be Conti Machi and um, Gilardi Ambrosini, and they both withdrew, likely because they were like, okay, well, it's just the two of us, and the Italians were
Everybody's
like, you should.
been competing.
Yeah, everybody's been competing. There was no dance event because the dance event
hmm
happened,
hmm
weeks ago for
Yeah,
the
in August.
for the Olympic qualifying event. So it was the
hmm
men and the women, and then the women didn't have Laranaki Goodman or Anna Pizzetta, so
hmm
that was something of a smaller field. But the men, however, was a showdown. It
hmm
was the four guys that you would expect to be going after those two spots for the Italian men. Daniel Grasso ended up winning over Matteo Rizzo, and then once again Nikolai Memola had something of a subpar competition after two competitions ago where he had this like brilliant start to a season.
Yeah.
And then Gabriele Frangipani had actually a decent competition for him, especially given he has not been skating well this season. So
hmm
it was kind of an interesting reshuffling of things, because I
Yeah.
think as we've been starting this season, I feel like we were looking at potentially Memola being like
hmm
the leading person, and that it was
Yeah.
a fight between Grasso and Rizzo, and Matteo Rizzo and Daniel Grasso have been looking stronger as well. So that fight will continue.
hmm I know watching Mamela at Lombardia, I was like, "Oh, he's on the team." But after that initial burst, he hasn't really skated up to that level. But it's interesting because they keep kind of beating each other, and we'll
Yeah,
see, what happens as the season goes on and how they're going to make this choice. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, this is very American centric because I've watched U.S. nationals so many
uh
times that
huh,
every time I watch U.S. nationals, especially for the Olympic season, they're like,
uh
"Oh, this is more competitive and more nerve wracking than
huh,
the Olympics itself."
yeah,
And it's like, I feel like a lot of these countries are going to have that kind of feel
mm-hmm,
because you really like the whole goal of this is to get yourself to the Olympics, right? I mean,
mm-hmm,
whether it is Italy with this, or France with what we were just talking about, or Korea, especially Korean women, and then now actually the Korean men too, and
Mhm.
the Chinese men and the Japanese singles,
Mhm.
and oh my god, like there's just so many really intriguing nationals this year,
Mhm.
and I don't want to hear the U.S. nationals is the most difficult competition there is, because there are so many other national competitions that are
Yeah.
going to be as such a nail biter.
Not to
Um,
mention it's kinda clear who's gonna be on the US team. At least the top 2 spots are in men and women are pretty well known. I mean, in dance too, it's pretty I mean, I feel like in Italy, it could be 2 of those guys in any combination, and you have no
I know,
idea which one.
I
It's like
know, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Mhm.
Um, okay, Junior Grand Prix of Poland,
Mhm.
second to last Junior Grand Prix. This is the last Junior Grand Prix where there's a pairs event, and so we now know who's going to be at the Junior Grand Prix final for the pairs, and for the pairs here, Zhang and Feng
Mhm.
wins it with a pretty nice 169.
Yeah.
Derochet and Thrasher of Canada 160, and then Chung and Dong, who are a very new
Mhm.
team, 152, getting third. So, Michelle and I were talking about this beforehand. The makeup of the pairs event at the Junior Grand Prix Finals is very,
Mhm.
it's very bilateral.
3 Chinese teams and 3 Canadian teams, and then the
Yeah,
3 alternates are all American teams.
trilateral.
It warms my heart to see all these new, like, junior teams coming out of China because I feel like their senior program has really kind of
Yep,
hollowed out the last couple Olympic cycles. There was, like, just 1 or 2 teams kind of and the second team was just not always even there, so to have these teams coming up is great, and,
I agree.
I really liked the team that won, Zhang and Feng. They had their free skate was choreographed by Wenjing Sui, and you could see all the little nuances she put in it and how she worked with particularly with Zhang on her expression and the way she was, like, moving her head and moving her upper body. It was really nice. I enjoyed watching it very much, and it made me even more excited to see Sui and Han if we are going to see them.
Wenjing, where are you?
Yeah.
Wenjing.
She's doing good choreography wherever she is.
Please tell us where you are. So that's the pairs.
Mhm.
Pitgena and Koval winning the dance and also getting themselves to the Junior Grand Prix final. The women was very strong,
Mhm.
like very strong.
I
The
saw
the
3
last,
triple axels and a quad
oh
sal.
my god, the last five who
Mhm.
skated in the final group were like all of them skated clean or near
Mhm.
clean programs, and everybody scored over 187. Like if this were a senior event,
Mhm.
they would have all scored over like 200. Like it was just like that's the kind of technical quality that we were talking about there.
Mhm.
And like for someone like Elizabeth Dibburn, who
Mhm.
is fairly new to the scene, and for her to skate as well as she did and get fifth, it's kind of like, wow, that was a crazy kind of event.
Mhm.
UJ Kim winning, now actually having the top junior score of any of the women, and that's over Oka and over Shimada as well, but Shimada is still to skate for her second competition, and Alika Lengyelova
Mhm.
getting a silver. Big for Slovakia to have a very strong junior woman, and then
Mhm.
Sophie von Velten for the U.S. getting the bronze just behind Lengyelova, which actually gets her likely out of the Junior Grand Prix final with the bronze.
Sophie Jolene.
Sophie Jolene.
I think
She
she
does
goes
go by
by
Jolene.
Jolene.
She
Yeah.
goes by Jolene.
Yeah, or Sophie Jolene. Yeah. But I gotta get the Jolene in there because she said there's a lot of
Jolene.
Sophies in skating, but there's only one Jolene. She told us that at nationals last year. We showed her in the gala.
Will she skate to Jolene? Maybe that's
I
what,
would
like,
love that. Although her name's
and
she's got an I
and
instead
spell
of an
it
E.
spell it
Yeah.
differently. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But still
Yeah.
Jolene. And then the men, Habin Choi winning,
Mhm.
Taga Nishino second, and Genrik Gartung third.
Mhm.
Dabin Choi also getting himself a spot. And Taiga Nishino getting himself a spot. Like there's the top 4 so far for the men are very strong, and the Junior Grand Prix final will be very interesting to see.
Yeah. I think the top 2 men attempted quad Lutzes, which, I don't know, I was impressed for junior men's field. Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, Haben and Genrick.
Genrick did a flip too.
Genrick. All right, well, that's a lot of competitions. This news of the week is going to continue and is going to continue going because there's more stuff to talk about. Rika Kihira, ice dancer.
Woo! Can't wait.
We literally stopped taping an hour before the announcement last week. I was very sad. I almost got back on.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. I want her to be able to keep skating and competing, and her foot injury seemed pretty gnarly, and she kept re-aggravating it, so this is a good alternate pathway. She's a beautiful skater, so.
Yeah, it does seem like she's going to continue skating singles as well. I think she's keeping the door. Yeah, I think she's keeping the door open. But I think at some point she's going to have to choose one or the other given, I do think she's hedging a bit, right? She has that like yearn to get back into singles given how good she was. And we'll see how good she can be as an ice dancer. Even though she's skating to Mambo number 5, with some of the clips that we saw were very promising.
Yeah, I wonder why she went for dance instead of pairs.
I think the pairs would be even worse for that foot.
Maybe. I mean, isn't it a pick-in injury though?
It is.
If you're not doing Lutz and flip, I guess you might be doing them in the throw, but still, you
would definitely pick in. You pick in like a Lutz for
the twist.
For the twist, so that it's a different kind of pick in, right? But it's still that same foot, and maybe she doesn't want to get thrown.
Yeah.
I don't want to get thrown.
No, me either.
Get thrown for a loop.
Some girls do though.
Or a Lutz or a Salchow. Yeah. I mean, some people. I mean, like Deanna Stellato was like born to do pairs.
Yeah.
It's that literally like
adrenaline junkie. Yeah.
Exactly. So Rika Kihira, I'm sure we will talk more about that because they are going to Shingo Nishiyama and Rika Kihira are going to compete this season. Like that.
Whoa, really?
That is actually a thing. Yeah. That's why they're doing a rhythm dance with the 90s theme.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense that. Wow.
Yeah, I know. They're going to go to sectionals, as far as I know, and give it a shot. So, I think we've got a few former and continuing single skaters going up for it because Ikura Kushida and Koshiro Shimada are going to be skating pairs. They already did their debut domestically, so lots of ice dance intrigue.
Thanks to the Olympic team event for really forcing Japan to build out its pairs and dance fields because there are some really interesting teams. They've some interesting talent and it's exciting.
Yeah, and never underestimate the power of role modeling because thanks to someone like a Daisuke Takahashi being like, I'm going to come back and do ice dance, and the way that he did it, it's just I'm still so sad that they couldn't continue because of his like his continued like injuries, because I think they could have been really good. So they already were. They already were really good.
Yeah.
So okay. Wow, we're this news of the week is going to continue. There's even more news of the week, which is withdrawals. Wakaba Higuchi out of the next Challenger Series. That's next weekend. And we have no idea why. And we're hoping it's not because she's injured.
So sad.
Yeah, I know.
We don't know. In my life.
Nobody knows though.
Yeah.
Golubieva and Giotopoulos more of Australia. They had such a great season last year. They're out of the Grand Prix of France. McBeath and Parkman are in that one. Again, kind of like Wakaba Higuchi, no idea whether the withdrawal is because of something. But when you're withdrawing from the Grand Prix, there is something. There has to be something. If you're withdrawing out of a Challenger Series, maybe it's a schedule thing. Maybe it's like I want more time to prepare kind of thing. But if you're out of the Grand Prix, something's going on. So fingers crossed that it's not anything serious. To the withdrawals, returns Keegan Messing back in competition.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Yeehaw. He was at the Dallas Open, which is a domestic event in the U.S., and got some crazy high scores.
Despite
He
not a
didn't.
lot of jump content. But
Yeah, he didn't really land that many things.
mhm.
So I that there's a lot of that that's like, okay, it's a domestic event, it's Keegan
Mhm.
messing. Like,
He's just getting warmed up. Yeah.
yeah, it will be scored differently if he did the same thing in an
Mhm.
international competition, and by differently I mean lower,
Mhm.
which is usually not the case, right? Usually you see a higher score. Well, if you're in Japan, you see a higher score internationally than you do
Mhm.
domestically. In the U.S., you oftentimes, it just kind of depends on the panel, depends
And
on
in
how they're calibrated.
Canada, it's always higher at the domestic competition.
So yeah, so we'll see where that goes, but those scores will not hold if he skates like that in international events. But again, first time back, but like we were saying earlier, that this sort of renaissance, and it's
Mhm.
it's more than just the Goklevaissance. There's the Romanescence. There's a Messingnificence. I can't even do it anymore. But this competition for that one spot for the Canadian men is going to be very, very
Mhm.
strong.
We have another return to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Fallen Russian skater Kamila Valieva announced that she is returning to training at the end of her ban, which will be lifted, I think, at the end of December. It was a 4-year ban. And she's going
Yep.
to be training in Tatiana Navsa school, not Sambo 70 with Eteri Tuberidze. She'll be training with Svetlana Sokolovskaya, who recently coached Trusova. She coaches Mark Andreatuk. I mean, it's kind of interesting that Camila's not going back to Tuberidze. I think on the plus side with Sokolovskaya, we'll get to see her work with a different choreographer. Well, we may not get to see it. You're going to have to watch like the Russian national competitions to see it, basically. I don't really think Russia's going to be back on the international circuit anytime soon, but we'll see. It's interesting she's coming back to skating. But,
Yeah, interesting to see that. I mean, it has
mhm,
been a few years,
mhm,
and I think in a lot of ways, she had so much natural talent,
so
and
much.
has so much
Yeah.
natural talent, and the it's just unfortunate how her career has sort of
hmm
panned out,
Yeah.
as a result of things that were, you would
hmm
think, out of her control. So
Yeah. Maybe she wants to finish it like on her own terms.
yeah, and
hmm
that's I think you saw that with Lipnitskaya too, right? When
hmm
she was sort of finishing her career as well.
hmm And you have Sasha Trusova, who's back on the ice landing double axels like within a month of a C-section, which is just crazy and exactly what you'd expect from her. She's, yeah.
Sure is. All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
close out this news of the week. Michelle.
Oh, yeah. So this week on Twitter, if anyone's been on Twitter, several videos surfaced of Maya and Alex Shibutani practicing, and the videos were very disturbing. They were hard to watch. They involved a very long, like about 30-minute rant by Alex, yelling at, berating, cursing at, demeaning his sister Maya, and her very like shut down, not responding to him. It was very unsettling, and it just demeaning her skating ability and her character. It was I mean, we've been wanting to see the Shibutanis and what's been going on with them at training, but this was just like unbelievable. And I don't know, I felt very unsettled for a long time after watching it. It was really hard to watch. And I also read, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I read some tweets that people said that the woman that the boards with them throughout these videos is their mom, which is also, she doesn't intervene very much. It's also really, hard to comprehend. Not intervening on her daughter's behalf, but I got the impression watching this that this like wasn't new behavior, like maybe it was something that's been going on, and I don't know, it really makes you think about all the years we saw them competing, and you wonder like what their relationship was like, because this is very much against the image that they sort of curated for a long time. Yeah, it's upsetting. It was hard to watch, Maya being treated like that, and you know, um, I hope she's okay, and maybe that there'll be some action after this
Yeah, I
has
mean,
come out.
it's verbal abuse. That's
Yeah,
pretty plain and clear. I mean,
yeah.
it's unfortunate that that kind of video saw the light of day, but also
Mhm.
like, um, it's just it's like we wanted to see the ships
Mhm.
and what they were doing, not
Mhm.
how they like we wanted to see programs. We
Mhm.
wanted to get something of that told us like how they were
Mhm.
with their preparations, and that was certainly not the thing that
Yeah.
anybody was hoping to see. And like there's no sort of running around this kind of character thing
Mhm.
that now Alex Shubitani has like very publicly now on his
Mhm.
head.
Mhm. Yeah, his ex-girlfriend on, like, TikTok, like, a couple of years ago made some videos about being in an abusive relationship where her partner was very verbally and emotionally abusive, and she suggested it was him but never confirmed that. But, that was a couple years ago. Rumors actually seeing it and seeing it directed toward Maya is just it's really hard to watch, and it's really hard to kinda cope with, actually, like, visually seeing it. And I hope, the commotion that's come around this circulating results in some kind of change,
Yeah,
in their
agreed.
relationship. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If there's a wake up call, right? If there's an
Mhm.
intervention like this, hopefully this is it.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Sorry to we are ending the news of the
Big
week
downer.
for
Mhm.
with such a downer, but wanted to make sure that we actually cover that.
Mhm.
And to be fair, right? Like, um, this is also not like behavior that is isolated to this. I
Mhm.
mean, it's sports. We know this happens in different training environments, different coaching, different, partnerships, different everything. And if there's anything that I want to take out of this is like, hey, these are people. Treat
Mhm.
treat your people with respect, whoever it is.
Mhm.
It's just like it's a sport. It's not that serious,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know.
One other thing in the videos, Alex seemed to suggest that, like, indirectly, that Maya might have an injury, and I think that may explain why we haven't seen them yet. But
We'll see. It's still a mystery.
mhm.
Everything is still a mystery
Mhm.
except for the berating. All right,
Mhm.
that's news of the week for the week of September 29th to October 5th.